Hello, welcome to Wide Left Sports. Today I'm joined by Bobcat cornerback Seth Johnson. Seth, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I am doing really good, really good. So, walk me through, I guess, first off, your love of football and what kind of got you to where you are now.
I feel like my love of football has really started since I was probably 3 or 4 years old. I had an older brother who played safety at Wisconsin, so going to watch his games at that big level made me start wanting to, you know, strive to be as good as he was. So that's really where it started at.
That's awesome. So, then when you were in high school, you obviously grew up down in Texas in Frisco, and that is a super competitive area for football. When did you know that you were going to be able to play collegiately?
Um, I feel like I knew when I started going against receivers that were like signed or that had multiple offers. I feel like that kind of boosted my confidence knowing I can hang with those type of cats that are, getting heavily recruited by big schools. So I feel like me going against, like some top receivers in high school, that's where my confidence came in.
Awesome. And then what ultimately made you choose to come up to Bozeman, come up to Montana, and play for the Bobcats?
Shoot, first off, started with Coach Owens, because Coach Owens is from Texas and he's also had a connection with an older guy when I was in high school that he offered and he went to his school when Coach Owens was at Pitt State. So that connection and that relationship I had with Coach Owens already boosted and made me even know that this was a great place to come to.
Oh, that's awesome. So, what was your kind of, I guess, not reality check, but like culture shock, for a lack of better words, when you came up to Bozeman and
Hmm.
you realized it's way different than Frisco?
Yeah. Honestly, the first thing was the weather. That was the first thing. And then also like I was surprised about how much like people love football here as much as people do in Texas. Texas is like a really big football state. So coming here in Bozeman to see how much they love like the football program, it was a shock to me, honestly. I didn't really know or didn't expect them to love football as much as we did or people do back home in Texas.
For sure. And yeah, I mean, you know, being here now for a little bit, that football is kind of the lifeblood up here, and especially this week.
Yes, sir. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. So I guess, my next question is, there are a lot of Texas guys and especially Frisco lately that are coming to the Bobcats. How cool is it for you coming from Texas to have those guys on the team that either are from your same town or from the same, at least, state?
Yes, sir. It was a great thing. Jared White, number three that plays running back, I played him, all 3 years of high school. So seeing him coming here, and also like just meeting all the other cornerbacks, because in our cornerback room, like we have a bunch of guys from Texas, so we knew like how much important football is to us, and like was just growing up and just all like having a connection with like football and just how important it was throughout our whole lives.
That's awesome. So talk to me a little bit about your cornerback room and the whole secondary as a whole. I mean, I when we got on, I had to ask you, like, are you a corner or a safety? Because the whole secondary just kind of blends together as a cohesive unit.
Yes, sir.
And so how cool is that to have a group that is so cohesive and really is part of the lifeblood of that stifling Bobcat defense?
Yeah. I guess like the first thing is just the mindset. The mindset is to go 1-0 and just focus on doing our job each play and not trying to, do other people's jobs during a certain play or whatnot. So us all having the same mindset. And one thing in our cornerback room that we find very important is to play with like just out physical the other team, come down with violence, trying to make great plays on the ball, on the receiver or whatnot, just trying to, just be like have an impact in the game, each play that you're on that field.
For sure, for sure. And talking about hard hitting impact on the field. I believe it was the Northern Colorado game. You made a few plays on screen plays where you just lit the running back up.
Yes, sir.
What are those plays like for you as a corner to just light another guy up?
Shoot, it's just the mindset. Like I said earlier, just making impact plays. Because when you keep doing that over and over again, and then you seeing all the other cornerbacks, all the other safeties, all the other nickels, that's like it's like, dang, like what can we do? Like our receivers are getting hurt, or our running backs are getting banged up. Like we can't really throw it. They're coming down with violence. Like we feel like it's like we can't do nothing. So just a mindset of just having an impact on each play that you make is very important in our room.
That's awesome. So, walk us through kind of like what a given week is for you guys. Obviously, you're in school, you're doing practice, you're doing all these things. But what is a week like for you as a student athlete at MSU?
Well, first thing, is making sure I'm caught up with all my assignments, because school comes first before anything here. And the second part is just like before we go out for practice, making sure like we're watching film on, the favorite stuff they like to do out of certain formations, and just like understanding how our role is and our job is going to be into the game, and just like focus on, our alignment, our assignment, and executing off of that each week. So just the preparation part is very important for each week.
For sure. And another thing I noticed in watching the games this year, the safety and corner room and the whole secondary is extremely young.
Yeah.
So how neat will that be in 2, 3 years when all you guys are upperclassmen that you've had 2 or 3 years of playing experience at a very high level?
Yeah. I feel like one main thing or important thing about that is, when we're older, is to give like the younger guys like basically our experience like that, that I feel like you being young, like that doesn't really matter. Like you take that as a chip on your shoulder, like to either beat an older guy out or just go out and make plays. And kind of like I feel like how we're doing this season, like I feel like at the start, like we had a chip on our shoulder talking about like how our secondary is very young and whatnot. So we took that and just ran with it, knowing that each week is something to prove each week. So I feel like that having that kind of mindset will help out the younger guys early in the future.
For sure. And this year's team, you've really noticed the defense week in and week out getting stronger. I mean, obviously starting the year out with Oregon is tough, and then South Dakota State is tough. But then once you guys have gotten into the rest of non-conference and the Big Sky play, it's been really lights out for you guys. How did you grow week to week and kind of go through those growing pains of the first couple of weeks being really tough?
Yeah, I feel like we honestly needed it, having those two big games. I feel like honestly it boosted everybody's confidence knowing that, after the Oregon game, just to see where we're at, and then that South Dakota game, knowing that it's like it's time to take the next step and go up take it up a notch, and I feel like since then, like we just been progressing each week, just be going 1-0 each week. And I feel like as each week goes, like we just be getting stronger, having just a great mindset each week, and just building up off, you know, the wins, and then taking those two losses early and just building up on it.
For sure. So you came to Bozeman last year as a red shirt. And what was that red shirt experience like? Because you're not really playing as much, you're really just practicing. So, what was that experience like for you as a player and as a competitor to go through that year where you're not on the field as much?
I feel like honestly it was a blessing in disguise. You know, we had players like Simeon Woodard that I was close to, and Andrew Powdrill. So, last year all I did was just like ask them questions like how could I do stuff to get on the field? What can I do, and like what things not to do to help you get on that field? And also like just going against like the like when on scout team going against the starting offense, against we had some pretty good receivers last year, so going against them, helps you boost your confidence in knowing that you can hang with those guys as well too.
For sure. And that kind of leads me to another question I didn't even really think about. How much in practice does it help that you're going up against, Taco Dowler, Adam Jones, Julius Davis, Justin Lamson, just to name a few? Um, how much does that help you on defense when then you're going against another team on Saturday?
Yeah, I feel like it helps on both sides, you know. Whenever we brought in Chris Long, going against him in fall camp was great competition for us in the cornerback room because the skill set he brought, you know, to help the offense out, and then we get to go against him like that boosted our confidence like way higher, knowing we got to go against a type of caliber of receiver like that, and going against Taco Dowler, man, it's like with him it's like a dogfight each practice, you know. And I feel like just that competition just helps, you know, like helps us on both sides of the ball.
For sure. And then now, obviously, this week is the biggest game of the year for the Bobcats and for the state of Montana. What is it like for you as a player leading up to this game? And this is the first one you're going to get the chance to play in. So, what
Yeah.
is it like for you to have that opportunity?
First thing I did this week was I went to go watch that Miracle in Missoula documentary, you know, and just watching that and just how like all the former players were talking about it, how like important it is to them and how important it is for all the kids who grew up in Montana. And this is like the biggest games of their lives. So just understanding like the rivalry, um, you know, it's like a very important one. So being able to play in it and have an impact in it, you know, is a great thing to be proud of.
For sure. And I know you guys go 1-0, so you don't really think about the future. But if you could come out Saturday afternoon, what would you want to have be the outcome after Saturday?
Shoot, a blowout. I feel like just total dominate on the offensive ball and the defensive ball because I feel like that's what we're capable of doing. So why not go put that um in front of the 26,000 fans that they got there and they're at their home stadium. You know, I feel like that's what we should totally do is dominate them.
Awesome. Well, Seth, I want to thank you so much for coming on and giving us a little snippet into your life as a Bobcat football player. And I wish you the best of luck in the Brawl of the Wild on Saturday.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yep. You have a great rest of your day.
Yes, sir. You too.